Hello, people. So today I want to speak about the compound effects of slavery. So this is something that I have been thinking about, something that has been bothering me, have been affecting all of us. You see, let's say this is one thing that people do not get right sometimes. So people think that if you escape slavery, if you escape wage slavery, regular, it don't matter what kind of slavery that you escape, people think that you automatically is going to be a free person. But if you think about it just a little bit, right? So just right now, why don't you go ahead and try to start a business? I mean, first, you probably don't have a capital for that, but then the other thing, you do not have the skills for that. You see, you have spent most of your life, if not all of your life, learning things, being educated on things, having skills on things that would only perpetuate your state of slavery. So you might have been working in a factory, you have might have been working in a restaurant. 90% of the skills that you gain are the sort of skills that would only use in situations where you're working for somebody else, right? So if you know how to operate your machine well in the factory, right? You could work for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. So you know how to operate this machine successfully, right? This skill does not transfer to something that you could independently make money without being dependent on anybody else, without being dependent on a job lord, on a company. Right now, there are some exceptions, So you got things like public speaking, you got things like working in the media, you got things like programming. These things you can transfer, but most jobs, if you've been a wage slave for 90% of us, our skills don't exactly transfer. And so I just wanted to speak about, even in the back in the days, in the slavery times, you got people who have been freed right away from slavery. Did you know that many of them went back to work for their slave owners or their past slave owners? Now, some people would ask, why? Was it actually good? Now, the truth is that because these people had no skills, had no information, had nothing else but to return to work for the same job they've been working, because they have no skills, they have no idea how to make money, how to work as a free person. Now, in addition to that, so many people would not hire them due to discrimination. But just look at that, kind of just think about it a little bit, right? So the person, let's say, who have been working in a farm, been picking cottons, stuff of that sort, right? And been doing it for 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, it don't matter, right? So he gets out of there and he wants to be a free man now. What experience does he have in growing a business? He doesn't have a capital, he doesn't have the experience. So he's like, there is no way to go forward, And so it's the same thing that has been affecting me. So me as a person, I've been trying to start something. I've been trying to work on a business. And I'm trying to do that while I have this job. Um, and it is very hard. I have not learned, and there's also something else. So that would have to do. You see, when you are a younger person, your learning faculties are way stronger. So if you've been taught as a young person about how to grow a business, about how to deal with money, about how to go about being a free person, you would have by far a very good headshot. So by far a very big head start, right? Um, so for many of us, we have been sent to institutions not only that would not teach you how to be a free person, how to make a business, how to have skills that would allow you to be an independent person, how to manage your own finances, but you have been indoctrinated, you have been educated, you have been given only skills that would only perpetuate being a wage slave, would only make you a very good person to work for somebody else. You see that? So this is something that all of the wage slaves are suffering from. Even if they have the idea, oh, you finally you figured out that you have been a wage slave, that you have no future, and you want to start something, you find this uphill battle now. You're trying to learn things, and your mental faculties, your learning ability is not as strong as it used to be when you were like 15, 16, 17, 20, and you find this uphill battle. Um, and yeah, and it is just something that is worth talking about, in this in this sort of thing. Like, there's a lot of people, myself and many other people, maybe you yourself, who is you're struggling to even find the skills or learn the skills, and it's really hard, and it costs you time, it costs you money, and you might fail, and you might never succeed to escape this wage slavery by having your own business, by having your own thing going on, and it seems almost impossible. And the one thing, or the one solution that I found for that, it's basically there is no shortcuts, kind of. So you would have to just go into it, try and fail, try and fail. And I'm not telling you that you will succeed, but every time that you try something, you have to assess, is it failing? Can I do it better? Every time you do something, next time you will do it a little bit better. If you pay attention, if you really put your heart into it, you will get better as time goes by. Now, will you succeed in the end? You might and you might not. This is not a guarantee. But what I also noticed, that it really comes back to spirituality. You see, so part of the baggage of being a slave, part of the baggage. So not only that you do not have skills or education or experience on how to be an independent person, how to be a free person, but you have all of this mental illness baggage with you. You see, so your mind is sort of playing tricks on you, flashbacks. You are feeling lazy. You are feeling like you hate everything. You're having a lot of bad feelings that been associated with a lot of factors, but including this wage slavery thing that you have been stuck in. The previous generation did not help either. They sort of put us in this situation that we have been in right now. For whatever reason, some of them, most of them are well-meaning, because it worked for them. So why wouldn't it work for you? Now, they didn't know how things are going to be. But yeah, so thank you for listening. I just wanted to speak about this, because it is such a, you know, it is it's such a thing that is affecting us deeply every day. Normal people, they're trying to escape the wage slavery, and then they hit this wall. I don't have experience, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't know where to start. And you basically just gotta start somewhere. It don't matter, as crazy as it is. If you have connections, if you know people who have been successful, who have been trying to do something like that, then it's good to learn from them. So try to speak to them, see what they are doing exactly, and you sort of try to pick up some things if you can. Try to gather a capital. I know it's almost impossible right now to have a capital, but this is where the discipline comes into place. And with the discipline, if you cannot reach it, this is where spirituality comes into place, right? So the first thing that you could do is to have control of your own mind, of your own imagination. So you sort of have to control what you're thinking about and what you're not thinking about, at least. So if your mind wanders and be like, oh, I'm thinking about eating and this and that, and you might not be hungry, but just comfort eating, or you're thinking about this beautiful person that you wanted to be with or you wanted to talk to and you cannot get to, and it's bothering you and you're spiraling, you have to learn. And this is not exactly the channel that I would teach you in detail, but you would have a lot of methodologies. You can look on YouTube about how to control your mind, so to speak. And so how you have the ego reduced to a level where it's not being in your way, so to speak. So once you can do that, the next step is to master trying to control as much as possible out of your own mind, and then you can try to. So you do not have to live life to the fullest in order so that you can save a capital. that you can invest in something. Maybe it could be something as little as to buy a camera. Maybe it could be something as to buy an app so that you can write something. Maybe it could be um, some tool that you would start a business with. So let's say as like lawn mowing. Uh, but yeah, so you gotta save a little bit to have a little bit of a capital so you can start somewhere. And as you start, there's gonna be a lot of stuff coming your way, and you gotta keep that going. And you have to try your best to be consistent. Sometimes you will fall, you will come back, but this is the only way that I know. But yeah, so I just wanted to bring all that up, because I don't see this being spoken about. A lot of people, you would have people like famous people like Andrew Tate, this and this person, that person. They would keep saying, "Oh, you're a brokey," blah blah blah. They didn't have to struggle with what we are struggling from, right? So they didn't have that thing where they have baggage of not having any skills. Some people, if you've been raised by parents who sheltered you, you might know very little about how the world works, and it's not your fault. You've been put in a situation that you are not able to learn about anything. And as you grow older, it becomes harder to learn. So I'm right here to tell you that I acknowledge you. Those people who are telling you that they're way better than you and you're a brokey, and I want to tell you that they're kind of wrong. So they're they're really more privileged in so many ways than what they think. But I'm also telling you that you should try to start somewhere. But I just want to acknowledge, because I have to acknowledge it about myself first, because sometimes, I feel I'm being way too hard on my own self. I just wake up every day, hate everything, do everything, hate everything, and I don't want to go too much into that. But, I've been put in a situation which I've been forced into, and there's a lot of people who are like that right now. They've been put in a situation, you're working a job, you're having a career, you're being in a place where not only that you don't like, you were trying to work to not be into that place, and you still ended up there. Yeah, I don't want to make this way too long, so stay strong and don't budge.